What's going on, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're going to be taking a quick look at this Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge. In this review, I'm going to talk about what sets this apart from a regular Ghost. I'll also take it for a thorough drive and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up and let her run. Black Badge is an all-new permanent bespoke series for Ghost, Wraith, and Dawn. You can think of it as the alter ego of Rolls-Royce, a theme that strays away from tradition with cars that are darker and more assertive, targeted towards a younger clientele. The concept of changes between the different cars is very similar, but the final executions are quite different from one another to give each car a distinct personality. For this video though, we're going to focus on the Ghost. For a car that's been around now since 2010, the Ghost has aged very well. In 2015, they introduced the Series 2, which was more or less a mid-cycle refresh. It brought along updated styling, inside and out, a wealth of new technology, new seat designs, and more. So what's different with the Black Badge? It all starts with the paint. This black is claimed to be the deepest, darkest, and most intense black ever seen on a production car. There's multiple layers of paint and lacquer that have been repeatedly hand polished. Of course, being that Rolls-Royces are completely bespoke automobiles, you can specify any interior and exterior color combination that your heart desires. The spirit of ecstasy and most of the chrome surfaces have been darkened, such as the front grille surround, trunk lid finisher, lower air inlet finishers, and exhaust tips. Also, the double R badges on the front, sides, and rear invert to become silver on black instead of black on silver. The wheels are unique too, but I'll talk about that more in just a moment. Pricing for the 2018 Ghost Black Badge starts at $351,000. But remember, most of these cars are built to order. Rolls-Royce states that the average Black Badge price is typically 15 to 20% higher depending on the additional bespoke content. Every Black Badge comes standard with these 21-inch wheels. It's a very bold design for a Rolls-Royce, but that's not what really makes them special, it's how they're made. A new composite carbon fiber and light alloy design that took 4 years to develop. They feature 22 layers of carbon fiber that's laid in 3 axes and folded back on themselves at the outer edges of the rim to provide 44 layers of strength. Additional strength is provided by 3D forged, aircraft-grade aluminum hubs that are fixed to the rim using titanium fasteners. Just like a regular Ghost, the rear wheels and tires are a little bit wider than the front. Of course, you also have the self-righting double R center caps. The Black Badge also receives unique tuning for the suspension and steering, as well as new drive shafts, all in an effort to create a car that's a little bit more rewarding to drive than a regular Ghost. As far as stopping power, the equipment is pretty much unchanged except for the front brake discs, which are 1 inch larger in diameter to provide a little bit more bite. The discs are clamped down by 4 piston calipers in front and single piston calipers in the rear. The suspension is fully independent with double wishbones in front and a multi-link rear, with 4-wheel fully adaptive air springs that help keep a level profile under both heavy acceleration and braking. You can also adjust the ride height via 3 different positions, to either lower it for better ingress and egress or raise it up for extra ground clearance. Driving a Rolls-Royce is an experience unlike anything else out there. These cars truly are marvels of engineering. The ride quality in particular is so good. It's on a completely different level from anything else that I've driven in the past aside from other Rolls-Royces. They call this the quote-unquote magic carpet ride because you quite literally feel like you're riding on air, isolated from the road beneath you. It's so quiet, so smooth, and so solid feeling. The steering is absolutely effortless, and no matter if you're going in a straight line or going through some corners, the structure remains very well composed. It doesn't unnecessarily float or waft back and forth. The refinement is just amazing. Like the regular Ghost, the Black Badge is powered by a twin-turbocharged 6.6-liter V12. However, thanks to a bump in output, it's now producing 603 horsepower at 5,250 RPM and 620 pound-feet of torque between 1,650 and 5,000 RPM. That's an increase of 40 horsepower and 15 pound-feet of torque, leading to a 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds. Top speed remains governed at 155 miles per hour. Along with the bump in power, the 8-speed automatic transmission has also been recalibrated. Now it's more responsive and adaptive. For example, beyond 25% throttle input, the transmission will hold its gears longer, shifting between 200 and 500 RPM later depending on the gear. Initiating a downshift also takes 20% less throttle input. In short, the Black Badge just displays a greater sense of urgency as it reacts a lot quicker to your inputs. Obviously, this car is not as performance focused as the Wraith, but when you consider the fact of how big it is and the fact that it weighs almost 5,500 pounds, the performance that it's capable of is pretty impressive. What's even more impressive to me is how all of that power can be sent to the ground with almost complete serenity within the cabin. The transmission is so seamless that you barely even feel it in operation, and only until you really push it do you start to hear the oh so satisfying deep growl of that V12. As traditional of a company as Rolls-Royce is, it's pretty cool seeing just how far they've stepped out of the box over the last 5 years. This car is a great example of that. You have vehicles that offer a lot more personality and are more dynamic from a driver's perspective with a touch of increased performance. As far as fuel economy, estimates range between 13 miles per gallon in the city and 20 miles per gallon on the highway. You can expect an average somewhere around 15 miles per gallon. The Ghost comes standard with a 21-gallon tank and of course requires the use of premium fuel. You've heard me mention the term bespoke already, but what does that really mean? In short, it refers to something that's made to order. It's also a term that perfectly describes Rolls-Royce's coach building division. When it comes to buyer-specific requests, the sky's the limit as far as what's possible. For the Black Badge, the dark theme continues throughout the interior, but again, a lot of it is up for personalization, right down to the colors, stitching, and materials. The Ghost's interior features a sumptuous combination of leather, wood, and metal finishers. The attention to detail is stunning. As technology-laden as a modern Rolls-Royce is, nothing is obtrusive. The layout is still quite traditional and minimalistic. For example, if you didn't want to look at the infotainment screen, you could hide it behind a wood panel at the touch of a button. The front seats are incredibly comfortable, combining good lateral and lower back support with active massage and both heating and cooling. The Ghost also features many of the newest safety and driver assistance technologies, including lane keep and assist, adaptive cruise control, a 360-degree camera system with night vision, emergency brake assist, knee airbags up front, a heads-up display, and more. Some of the important differences with the Black Badge include handcrafted piano black wood trim, darkened front and rear air vents and bolder color options, and orange-tipped needles for the instrument cluster and dash clock. Speaking of, the clock face actually has an unlimited rating infinity logo, which in this case signifies the desire to challenge or ignore apparent limits in both life and design. The logos can also be found with several key elements of the interior. The entire headliner all the way down the pillars is wrapped in leather, black leather specifically for the Black Badge, and of course you have Rolls-Royce's captivating Starry Night headliner. The Black Badge features an 18-speaker bespoke surround sound system custom-tailored by Rolls-Royce. The audio, navigation, and telecommunication features are routed through a high-resolution 10.25-inch widescreen display in the middle of the dash. The hard drive infotainment system is based on BMW's iDrive system, operated by a remote control in the center console. There's a touchpad on top that can even take written commands, in addition to various shortcut menu buttons to easily access key features. We won't go through the whole system for the purposes of this video, but it's quite straightforward, especially if you've already had prior experience with iDrive. In addition to satellite radio and HD radio, there's Bluetooth connectivity, hands-free audio streaming, iPod auxiliary integration, and an in-dash CD player. Some redundant radio controls can be found in the center of the dash, along with a row of glass preset buttons, a beautiful detail. Naturally, you have fully independent climate controls for the front and rear. Up top you can adjust the intensity, but at the bottom there's little dials that allow you to fine-tune the temperature between the upper and lower vents. While the Ghost is certainly more driver-oriented than a Phantom, I still feel like it's one of those cars that's best experienced from the back seat. My biggest regret of this whole shoot was not bringing someone with me so I could see what it's like to actually be chauffeured somewhere. There's a lot of luxurious and super luxurious cars out there, but there's just something about the opulence of a Rolls-Royce interior that's impossible to match. In fact, the Ghost can be had in two forms, short wheelbase or extended wheelbase. This example is a short wheelbase and it's the only way that you can get the black badge. The back seat is like a wraparound couch, designed to sit two people comfortably or three in a pinch. The headrests are adjustable and there's little pillows on them. When you fold down the armrest, you get access to a refrigerated cool box and built-in glassware. There's a ton of features back here. For starters, you have little mirrors built into the C-pillars. You also have a full theater system with a rotary controller just like you have in the front. There's powered outboard seats with 4-way powered lumbar, built-in cup holders, plenty of storage, and so much more. And again, like the front, the rear seat can be ordered with a massage function. Now let's head towards the rear and check out trunk space. The lid on the Ghost is fully powered. Once you take a look inside, you'll find 17.3 cubic feet of cargo space. There's a polished entryway, which is a really nice touch, but not quite as nice as all of that plush carpet. It is beautiful and super soft. Underneath the trunk floor, you'll also find a little tool kit. If you have some small items, there's a little pocket off to the right as well, you can keep them secure. Now before I wrap everything up, let's go ahead and see how she sounds. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge. Be sure to stay tuned next time and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. There's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.